The BNT V8's headed for the sensational South Island, and there was heaps of drama in round 3. In the end, though, it was Andre Heimgartner in Class 1 and Chelsea Herbert in Class 2, who proved to be a class above the rest. Round 4 of the BNT V8's headed for a heat wave in the South Island. Invercargill, home to Burt Munro. Bluff, Oysters, hardcore petrolheads, Teretonga, Whitebait, and of course, one of the most iconic corners in the history of New Zealand motorsport. With the details, Brad Lathrope.
Cheers, Clint, and here's the key data for Teretonga. With a track length of 2.57 kilometres, a total of 8 turns and a top speed of 265 kilometres an hour, and the outright lap record for a touring car currently held by Andre Heimgartner with a 59.055.
And the 22-year-old Kiwi continues to set the pace in this year's championship, looking forward to returning to Teretonga.
Couldn't be any more different, you know. We only got a 59-second lap here, and you know, you only turn right twice, I think it is. So it's pretty interesting down south here. It's put on the weather luckily for this weekend, and really looking forward to some good racing here.
Fine and sunny, fantastic for the fans, although a little bit windy for the drivers.
When you go around certain corners, you lose the downforce on the front, so you get a bit of push. So as the wind changes throughout the day, you sort of got to adapt to that and take notice, and yeah, that can be a big part of it.
Also showing some great potential is the 18-year-old from the Gold Coast, Jack Smith, the V8 Australian Touring Car Champion.
Yeah, last weekend was pretty good. You know, I enjoyed it a lot. We had some pretty good pace, and I felt like we really had a crack there, but didn't all go to plan. Had a few dramas in the last race. Made a mistake, obviously myself, and then some mechanical dramas. But yeah, obviously some early mechanical dramas this weekend for us in the first practice session, which puts us out for the weekend, which is a massive shame. Well, last weekend we've picked up a rock or something, and it's hit the fan belt in the car, and it's caused a bit of damage. Did a full rebuild on it during the week, and yeah, it's obviously something hasn't gone quite right, and on one of the downshifts to the last corner here, we've blown a gearbox and put a couple of holes in the block in the engine, so it's yeah, done a fair bit of damage, which is a real shame.
And for the local fans, all eyes are on the 20-year-old Southlander, Liam McDonald.
It's a fast-flowing track, so just keep the momentum up and all the corners will flow in. Once you get them all right, it will just flows in just over a minute a lap, so it's a pretty short lap, yeah.
And a man on the fast learning curve is the rookie racer from Rolleston, Justin Ashwell, enjoying his dig in the V8s.
Very, very high speed, and you've got to have your wits about you under the braking. The loop is probably one of the most notorious around the country to go around, and if you get it right, you have a good lap.
Hi, I'm Alistair Wooden, driver and strength and conditioning coach for drivers in the Toyota Racing Series. The all-important flow here at Teretonga Park is a clean approach into turn 2, nice and narrow, allowing you an early pickup on the throttle to get up through turns 3 and 4. And that's the flow.
And the guys who mastered the flow in qualifying, pole Class 1 for Andre Heimgartner in Class 2, Brock Tipperley.
No, it's great to come down here and sit the car on pole on a track I'm very unfamiliar with. So yeah, great feeling at the moment.
Hey guys, so what we're going to talk about is just a little bit of the fuel system. So what we've got here in the back of my beautiful car, we've got our fuel tank, which is 120 litre fuel capacity. Inside that we have a number of lift pumps, which sucks the fuel up into this surge tank to ensure that we've always got fuel loaded in the system. It then goes through into the fuel pump, which then goes through the fuel filter, which sends the fuel to the engine, which then provides us to be able to get the power down to the ground and drive faster on the track.
Thanks, Brad. Let's see how they line up for race 1 on the track. Round 4 of the BNT V8's is set by Andre Heimgartner's 4th pole in the series, and Brock Tipperley gets his first pole in Class 2. So, beautiful hot sunny conditions here at Teretonga. And of course, it's the rolling start. This time, no jumping the start because there has been a few problems as they got a bit too keen and eager. Red lights, 12 laps we go, green now. And it's the two Camry teammates side by side down this huge long straight. Terrific shot here at Teretonga. What a corner. Welcome to the loop.
That was awesome. Andre definitely came out of the gate firing there, and he just stayed right beside Bugs until entering the corner and just shot on through.
Yeah, they call it the never-ending bend. It never sort of seems like it's going to end. And this is one of the key corners that Alistair Wooten was talking about, because you get it wrong coming out of 2 into 3 and 4, it could really ruin your lap. But Heimgartner on the pace so far. Fantastic flow through here, isn't it?
Oh, it is, and it's awesome to see, you know. You got the front 3 cars nice and close to each other. Hopefully they can stay like that for the remainder of the race.
Brock Tipperley right on the pace in Class 2. He did a lot of testing and qualifying, and already got a bit of a handy lead as we look back from Liam McDonald's Ford Falcon. This is coming down to the GWD elbow.
That elbow is an awesome passing opportunity, but you've really got to commit to it and make sure that the other cars are aware that you're going to have a dive.
Sets up the draft down the long straight. Herbert having a look down the inside, going into the loop.
That's a great pass by Chelsea there. She got a great run coming out of the elbow, and she's got a very fast car in a straight line at the moment and was just able to swing past him.
See how they have to feather it around that corner, because it just seems like it goes on and on and on. Great corner, one of the icon corners of New Zealand motorsport, the loop at Teretonga, now down into Castrol.
It's awesome to see you've obviously Brock's kind of hit the ground running and got a decent little buffer here, but it's good to see that Chelsea, Liam and Justin are all having their own little battle as well.
Johnny McIntyre having a lot to do with running this team and also setting up the tyres and everything else in regards to helping Brock Tipperley get out of the Mazdas and be more competitive in the V8s.
It is great to see more people starting in smaller classes and moving up through the ranks, just like the Mazda Pro 7s. There's a great learning class, and it's great to see Brock jumping into the NZ Touring cars with us and having a good crack.
The 3 stars in Class 1 sort of gapping each other at the moment. Heimgartner from Bargs. In fact, he actually came through all the classes like Formula Ford, so he's done a lot of setup racing around New Zealand before getting that get-in with Nissan and the supercars, and it's great that he's just back here in these V8s getting more seat time for his big season ahead, so good skills.
No doubt, and here we go, we've got an onboard with Nick Ross here, getting a nice idea of what it's like in the cockpit for a lap around the track.
Working hard at the Nissan Altima. Nick Ross out of Cambridge, Brock Tipperley in car 59, the Ford Falcon in Class 2. Geez, had some really good speed here today.
That car is just on rails at the moment. Look at that buffer back to second place. He is driving awesomely.
So the work that Johnny McIntyre, one of the former V8 champs, has done to help Brock make that transition out of Mazdas into the V8s is certainly starting to work for him. Picked up a pole, rapped about that. Is he on target for another breakthrough win?
He very well could be. This is a young guy with a lot of talent, and I'd say if he keeps performing as the way he does, watch out in the future.
Handy having a bit of sponsorship from the old man's company, Erosion Control. At the moment, it's all speed control and car control for the 23-year-old Aucklander.
That's a great sound of the cars coming into the braking area for turn 1 there at the Southern Loop.
Yeah, it's not the sort of place you want to lose your brakes, is it?
No, not at all. Turn 1 at Teretonga, the Southern Loop's one of the highest speed entries that we have throughout the country, and if things go bad, you kind of just got to hold on and hope for the best.
But at the moment, it's Chelsea Herbert who's doing a great job in second place at the moment, being shadowed by Liam McDonald, who'd be probably disappointed because being the local man, he would be expected to dominate this class like he has done as the current champion. So, bit of a turn-up for the books here with Tipperley in front and Herbert in second place at the moment, putting the squeeze on the 20-year-old Southlander, the 19-year-old out of Albany and Auckland.
Yeah, it's just a bit uncharacteristic, actually, of Liam to be, you know, this far back. Usually he's quite on form. I just wonder if they're chasing a little bit of setup in the car at the moment.
Oh, Herbert just running a bit wide. She wouldn't be the first to do that, coming into the elbow and getting onto that main straight.
It's quite easy to make a mistake coming off the elbow into the front straight. I'm partial to that myself on one of 5 occasions.
You'll notice how the cars hug the inside line down pit lane to minimise the effects of the strong crosswind.
It's also, if you're coming down the front straight and you're trying to defend, if you can hold that line, the car behind you has to have a really, really decent run on you to try and go around the outside, because the outside of turn 1 is not where you want to be.
On board Nick Ross of the Nissan Altima. Oh! He's gone! He's lost the wing! Oh, turn it up! And that's exactly what we were talking about before, not the place to lose your brakes.
No, not at all. That's unfortunate there. I wonder what happens. It looked like from that rear view camera the rear wing has just delaminated or just detached itself as he's going down. And that's a high-speed incident.
That is scary for Nick Ross. The Lexus safety car's on standby. This is going to close up the field. And let's have a look now. Oh, and there goes the rear wing, so he's lost all downforce.
Oh, at speeds like that, that's ridiculous. And trying to coming into a braking area, you've got no downforce on the rear of the vehicle. It'll just do exactly what it did and just spin around. That's just unfortunate.
But luckily, the gravel trap did its job in the safety wall.
Hopefully there's not too much work for the boys to get that car back out on track for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, a lot of work to do to rebuild the total Nissan for Nick Ross. So now we have a last lap shootout. Talk about drama in the BNT V8s. I mean, it's not a big field, but geez, some quality racing.
Oh, no. The BNT V8s are always renowned for quality racing. It is slightly unfortunate to see the numbers aren't there, but just having a look at the in-car from Liam, Brock Temperley once again has just timed that restart perfectly, and he's just shot out of the gate and left them for dead.
So now it's McDonald putting the squeeze on Herbert. There's Temperley leading Class 2. McDonald having a look down the inside of Castrol. You can't afford to run wide here, though, because you can get into real trouble, but they've both maintained it. Gee, it's good close racing.
Oh, it's awesome to watch. This is very exciting. Edge of the seat stuff.
McDonald's desperate, though. He's trying to make that pass. He's going to look round through the hairpin and try and set her up going down into the elbow.
He's going to have a go under brakes here. It's his last opportunity. Oh, we've got Matt Tubbs. Matt Tubbs has gone off at the elbow coming onto the straight.
Meanwhile, Andre Heimgartner gets the win. Oh, look at this! As Heimgartner takes the checkered flag, Tubbs comes back on right in front of the drag race between McDonald and Herbert. And Herbert holds on for second spot along with Liam McDonald. Wow. Andre Heimgartner. Dramatic win in the end. Barg second, Hughes third. Temperley gets the win in Class 2. Liam McDonald later copped a post-race suspension for a technical improvement. So it's Herbert and Ashwell who take out the other podium spots in Class 2.
Yeah, it was a good race for us. We did some tweaks between sort of qualifying and that race, and it really worked out. The car was, pretty amazing, that one. So we'll look tomorrow. We've got new tyres, as does everyone else, though. But the track conditions sort of changed a lot from qualifying to the race there. So it was a bit tricky. You had to change your front and rear anti-roll bars to sort of suit the track, and we managed to find a sweet spot, obviously a bit better than everyone else. So looking forward to tomorrow.
Feels great. We're doing cars on rails here at Teretonga, and just got to keep it straight. Obviously following the leader, following the Class 1 cars. And to be quite honest, I didn't see what happened with the Class 2 cars behind me. But yeah, we seem to have a good lead going into going off the safety car, which is great.
But I tell you what, the real scary moment in the race was when the rear wing came off the total Nissan of Nick Ross, putting him into the wall. The gravel trap did its job, but so too did the team, working hard overnight to rebuild that car.
Hi everyone, I'm Nick Ross, and after a hairy ride yesterday, after the wing decided to part company, we put it in the wall. Boys have done a fantastic job to get this car back together overnight, and we're ready to go for race 2.
Now, the Class 2 battle is also a family battle between the Herberts and the McDonalds.
Oh, they play a pretty big part Mum knows how to make some good food and bring it out for lunch. She certainly knows how to make some good sandwiches, and everyone enjoys having good food to eat at the track, and having family support at the track as well is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Oh, it's a really awesome to watch him racing and seeing what he get up to and how good he goes, and it makes you really proud to be a father. You know, like we think he's really good.
Yeah, it goes back a long way. Bringing the kids here when they're little, sitting them down, making them eat their lunch, stay still.
He's quite, he listens, and well, sometimes he does and sometimes he doesn't. But generally he lets us know what's going wrong and what we have to do to fix it. And he's got a lot of ability, and he's a really good driver for his age. You know, like there is probably other good ones out there as well, but he's right up there with them. You know, like he's got a lot of talent. We love doing it. Yeah, keep doing it as long as we can.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other family enjoying that battle is the 19-year-old from Albany, Chelsea Herbert, and her mum and dad.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Since day one, Mum, Dad and Joe have all been at the track. We've never really gone without each other. So it's a real cool family event that we can all do together and really help each other. Last season, yeah, we all took a car ride down together, but I decided it was a bit much this year, so Mum flew me down. I use work as an excuse, but yeah, it's a lot of chatter the whole way down.
Oh yes, it's great. I love to see the kids when they're happy at what they're doing, and she just loves driving, and that's her passion, and that's all she wants to do in life, and always has wanted to do it. So it's fantastic to be around.
Every weekend, just about every weekend, we are together as a family doing our thing. So everyone gets to see the highs and the lows of each family member. But hey, it's still a good thing, and we sort of look back to where we are now, and we just wouldn't have done it any other way. I've actually been really, really impressed with Joe. I just thought he would take it, a bit harshly, and being the elder son and arguably got some more titles in Chelsea and karts. He's never really got too upset about where she's happened to be going.
Yes, and even though Joel got into motor racing first, Chelsea said to Dad, "Hey, what about me? I want to go motor racing as well." And here they are, Bargs, Heimgardner, Ross, Hughes, Tubbs lining up for race 2 in the V8s, and the reverse grid showdown for Class 2 with McDonald at the rear of the grid after copping a technical infringement from the opening race of the series. So beautiful, hot, sunny conditions, sensational weather in the South Island at Teretonga, and we are racing again in race 2 in the BNT V8s.
Bargs is going to try hold Andre out here and get the pole line, which he seems to have done into the big loop. So now it's just the hang on and see who comes out in front.
I wonder what's going to happen this time. Wonder how Nick Ross is feeling after being able to brake going into that corner this time.
Oh, it's definitely a bit of a mental thing, that barrier that you'd have to get over, but he seems to be doing quite well at the moment, and he is a very competitive, good, hard racer, so I'm sure it wouldn't have fazed him too badly. Conditions
a little bit cooler this morning, so perhaps the track conditions will be a bit quicker. Bargs has already streaked a bit on Heimgard, who may be banking some of those tyres for race 3 like they normally do. So look at the battle there between Herbert and McDonald straight away, the two families. Judith and Donna, the two mums, will be sitting back watching that, along with the dads, Mark and Robin. On board with Nick Ross.
It's just awesome watching the footage coming down the front straight here. This is one of the longest front straights that we actually have on any New Zealand motorsport track, and they get up to some really decent speeds into turn 1 here with the Southern Loop.
You can see how it just keeps on going around. Great work by the team out of Cambridge to rebuild that car. Oh, a little bit twitchy. That's the exit out of turn 1, such a crucial part of the track.
Oh, it is now coming into turn 2, which Alistair Wooten mentioned about the flow earlier, and you can see you've just got to carry your momentum through the corners because it's such a short lap here that, yeah, if you do make one mistake, you're chasing your tail for the rest of it.
Brock Tipperley's had some real speed this weekend. It's Justin Ashwell Fishtails. Scary moment for him, getting a bit twitchy. Good battle here between Tipperley's got some real speed this weekend, and number 59, the Ford Falcon, putting the squeeze on 62, Chelsea Herbert.
Oh, it'd be good to see if he can get up past Chelsea or, have a good door-to-door battle with her.
Through the elbow, the entry and the exit, key part of the track. As a Mazda man getting into V8s, he's doing a pretty good job, isn't he, mate?
He's doing a really awesome job, and like I said earlier, it's really cool to see people coming up through the categories. I myself kind of made a little bit of a name and reputation for myself in the Mazda Pro 7s for a few seasons and moved my way up, and it's really cool to see Brock doing the same thing.
So we had Andre Heimgartner winning race 1 of the BNT V8s, and now it's Jason Bargwanna and Liam McDonald who are the class leaders in 1 and 2 in race number 2. So more chances for other drivers to try and taste that checkered flag.
Yeah, it's good to see Bargs has got a pretty decent gap here, so Andre and Nick have definitely got their work cut out for them to try and catch back up to him, and it's awesome to see Liam back in the front, but the question is, will he be able to stay there?
The Tiger Building Systems car, gee, they sound cool. The V8 Camrys look good as well.
They've got that awesome high-tuned pitch. They've definitely got a good sounding engine.
990 metres, the straight at Teretonga, the longest in the country. So the MTF Ford Falcon of Herbert shadowing Liam McDonald. He's got some more pace today, so after copying that infringement, he's obviously a bit grumpy.
Back on board with Brock now, and you just get a little bit of an idea. There is a bit of a speed difference between Class 1 and Class 2, but you can see here they're still going pretty hearty into Turn 1.
Hitting those braking spots, just feathering it as you go around the big loop.
It's also quite interesting there. You can see that there's a number of different lines as well. Brock seems to be holding the pole line or the tight line around the corner, where Chelsea was about a car width more into the middle of the circuit. So depending on how you've got the cars set up and how the drivers want to drive them, there are different ways to get around the corner.
Real good camber around this part of the track. And great to see all the fans parked up in their boats. Yes, they've got people sitting in boats trackside. It sounds weird, but they do it down in Southland. They're dead set sensational. Trucks, camper vans, caravans, you name it. Heimgartner, don't run wide coming out of Turn 1. This is that sort of double apex for Turn 2. Can be a bit tricky.
You can see Andre's definitely got his hands full a little bit there. He's really wrestling with the car, but it doesn't seem to be moving around too much on him.
So the man who's grabbed the lead at the moment in the Class 1 battle of the BNT V8s and the Superlux Camry. Nick Ross done a great job getting that Nissan back on the track after his big scare in race 1. So showing some good speed again this race.
Oh yeah, you know, the boys from Concept Motorsport would have had a pretty decent late night last night to get the car back together, but you know, just look at what he's out there doing now. It's awesome. The car's back in one piece, and Nick's definitely on pace.
Real absorbing battle here. This will keep the family on edge, the Herbert family we were talking about before. Brock Timperley's going to have a look down at the elbow.
Oh, good boy, committed down the inside. That's the best way to do it.
Little bit of a touch.
Oh, a little bit unfortunate there, but you know that they gave each other enough room to get around the corner. Just hopefully Brock's bumper doesn't fall off, because that may be deemed a little bit dangerous by the officials.
But still, they gave each other a bit of a racing room too, and Herbert was quick enough or smart enough to know that Brock's been a little bit quicker than her at the moment. So just, you know, don't get involved in a scrap. Just let him go.
Sometimes it is best to just do that, you know, if you've got someone their car's set up on rails. You know, it'll be interesting to see if Brock can catch up to Liam before the end of the race, but sometimes it's better to just let the car get past instead of overusing your car and wearing the tyres down.
What do you mean by set up on rails?
In regards to rails, you know, I think Brock mentioned that a little bit earlier. If your car's set up and you're driving it to the best of your ability and the conditions and everything works in favour for you, it's almost like being a train on rails. It just, you don't miss the turn-in, you don't miss the apex, everything just works perfectly, and the car's just got an exceptional amount of pace, and that's definitely what Brock's car's been like this weekend so far.
And you can see it with all these other Class 1 cars too, as they hit the apex and they're smooth and fast through the entry and also the exit on the corners. Have a look behind from Andre Heimgartner. This is Nick Ross from behind, shadowing him, so you can see how the car's just nice and sweet down the outside part of the track.
Yeah, it is quite interesting. Yesterday we noticed that most of the cars were actually, once they got onto the straight, they were pulling in and hugging the pit wall down the front straight, but obviously the wind has died off a little bit, so that they don't have to do that so much today.
Yeah, changing conditions too, so no doubt they'll be changing the settings with their roll bars in and out of the car too, so of course you have to change the setup of the car according to the changing conditions of the track, because as they say, the track is a living, breathing thing, because every time you're out there, it'll have a different feel on it. One man who's been really driving by the seat of his pants today is Jason Bargwanna. In fact, Liam McDonald, the two of the stars in their cars, sort of normal transmission has been resumed between the two defending champions.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit exciting to see that, you know, over the previous few rounds we've had some different winners, and the people sitting on the top haven't always had it their way. But it's nice to see Bugs coming back into form with a win here.
So Bugs, he'll take the checkered flag for race 2 of the BNT V8's. Heimgartner comes home second, followed by Nick Ross. And in the battle for Class 2, it's the local man. So I think Mum will be happy to feed this boy because he's had the need for speed, and now it's feeding time for that checkered flag.
Extra sandwiches for the team today. They've started off with a really good effort with the race win.
It will taste so good.
It's great to see Brock's actually made a little bit of pace there, but obviously Liam's just been on form this morning and hasn't been able to be touched.
Yeah, the sweet taste of success for Liam McDonald, followed by Timperley. Very good car speed this weekend, gets a win in a second, and Herbert coming home in third. So confirming those results of the second showdown of the BNT V8's, Bargs, Heimgartner and Ross in Class 1, and it's McDonald, Timperley and Herbert in Class 2.
Yeah, look, obviously we with the cooler track temp, the setup was quite good and the car worked really well. It's really funny how you get disappointed with a second, but obviously a win gets you back up there pretty quickly. And it's really a close battle between Andre and O this year. And obviously Nick's not far away as well. But hang on. Did you get this bit in? Did you get this bit in? No, it was good. I always like winning races. You can never have enough of it. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, you know, championships and battles can be all about quality, not quantity. So clearly we need more cars out there to make it even more spectacular. But let me tell you, from inside the car, the battle's pretty intense. And obviously Andre's pretty at the sharp end of his game at the moment, going into the supercar season this year. So, you know, it's a good benchmark for all of us. And obviously Nick and I have done a lot of miles in these cars. So there's nothing between us. We're talking hundreds between lap times, and it's on, let me tell you. And going right down to the wire, the championship's going to go all the way to the end.
Yeah, it's much cooler day and more overcast and no wind today, so better conditions for on the track race this morning. Yeah, managed to pull a good lead about a few laps into it, then poured on for about the 10th lap and started to cruise home after that. I knew after I had it, so yeah, real happy.
And from one beauty to another, one of the other great things about racing in the South Island is their rare natural beauty, home of the yellow-eyed penguin. Now, the team to watch this year is the team from Tony Richards Toyota.
G'day, it's Jason Bugwanner here from the Richards team Toyota. Now, you've seen Andre and I out the track this year. We've had a fantastic year. Between us, we've had every race win. We're leading the championship, second the championship, and it's going really well. But let's have a look at what actually happens behind the scenes, Lou. Let's have a look at the people that make up what it is we do. So follow us through. We'll go into the shed here and we'll have a look around and we'll just investigate how it is that we operate these Camrys. If you come out the back here, what did you choose to FT? FT's the man behind this business. He's the boss. He's in charge. FT, we're here. We're just with all the fans. Tell us about your journey in motor racing. Why is it you're here? What is it you love about doing this?
Well, it's just the comradeship. I've been a keen rugby enthusiast all my life, and I thought I'd go driving a motor car. Unfortunately, I was big into the cars. You know, the whole season is good, win, lose or draw. And that's how we play sport. Eh? Take it on the chin and move on to the next round, Barnes. Don't you?
Lightning, you're ex-speedway racer, so and obviously been involved in the touring car team now for a long time.
Yep.
Lightning's in charge of prepping the cars back at the workshop. He strips them back to nothing. Are you enjoying the season so far?
Long and hard, but yeah, we're going well. Results in the track show, it all helps when we get those results. It's a team sport, so it's not about one person, so we all work well as a team, and it's showing, so it's good.
So give the fans a bit of an insight. When we go back to the workshop in between race meetings, the cars, you strip them back to basically nothing, don't you?
Yep, so all four corners come off, axle checks, we're doing the brake systems come off, obviously. Gearboxes come out once a year for crack testing, and engines have off-season maintenance. Other than that, they're pretty reliable. I'm the service manager at the Valley Toyota site, which is in the Thames, one of the two dealerships. So yeah, in between racing, I actually get to do some normal work.
So that gives you an insight into some of the people that make up what we do here in the BNT Championship. Making these cars run, it looks good in 12 laps on the racetrack, but there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes.
Fantastic, Barks. Yeah, the great thing about the Tony Richards team is they're real regional boys, country boys from Thames, not the old big city slickers. They love their motor racing, so let's see how they lined up for the standing start. Race number 3, Class 2 in the front, led by Timperley. And then it's going to be Heimgartner and Barks from the rear in Class 1, 30 seconds later. 14 laps, green light, Class 2 away. McDonald nails the start. Herbert got buried. Timperley away cleanly as well.
A plus B equals see you later, and they've just waited till the lights have gone out and they've shot it.
Now the Class 1 cars will get...
So don't forget the Class 2 cars will start off first. 28 degrees, fine and sunny today. Terrific weather here at Teretonga, and the fans really enjoying the racing. So the teams like Tony Richards, because it makes it so much easier, doesn't it, to be watching in the sunshine?
Oh, exactly, it does. And, as we've covered over the fact that there's so many... Oh, here we go for the start for the Class 1 boys. And Nick, what a great start by Nick. He's straight out of the gate.
So it could be a change in fortunes for Nick Ross. He's had his moments throughout the championship.
Oh, he definitely has, and it's good to see, But we're on board here with Andre coming around the loop. And once again, you can see the difference of the lines. Obviously, Barks is just there trying to hold the high line, trying to get around Lance. Unfortunately, couldn't pull that move off.
But you still have the inside line going into Castro. That's where Heimgartner's going to have to button off. And Barks just gives him a little wee nudge. Or Heimgartner gives him a nudge back.
Nothing like a bit of love tap with the old teammate, eh?
FT will be enjoying that. And so will Grant Lightning Low saying, boys, around the outside. He's in a Cambry sandwich, Lance Hughes.
Oh, it's all on here, and this is only lap 1.
So that's Ross in front. Matt Tubbs out of Hamilton. Lance Hughes having a look down the inside.
No.
Contact with Barks.
Oh, that's definitely not what you want to see. That's not the way to get around the corner, boys.
So I wonder if Barks didn't see him coming and just turned in. Then they've got the old contact there, but it's put him right at the back of Class 1.
Oh, he'd definitely have a little bit of red mist now under the helmet.
So he loves that number 1. Let's have a look at down the inside of Hughes. Has he got the overlap? Or is he just driven straight in as Barks was coming in through the corner?
It's there'll be two opinions to what just happened there. Lance may have just been slightly out of... Just before the turn in there, it kind of looks like his car, just the rear may have pinched just a little bit, but yeah, tricky to say.
I'll tell you what, one of those boys will be having a bit of T-bone steak for tea tonight.
Oh, it's a bit unfortunate here. See, Lance, he's definitely dropped right off pace. He's
got
limping.
a problem, hasn't he? Look, he's got a puncture from that contact with Barks. He's certainly got an issue with that right wheel.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate there. Hopefully he can get himself safely back to the pits without getting in anyone's way and get the issue sorted out.
Tell you what, in regards to the championship, this has played right in favour of Andre Heimgartner. These two taking each other out.
Yeah, definitely. And as you can see there, he's got a right front puncture there, so he's just got to nurse that car back into the pits, and hopefully he'll be sweet to get back out with a new one.
But the man who's right out in front at the moment is Nick Ross. How would you feel? You've gone from that drama in race 1, have the big crash when the rear wing flies off, and suddenly you've got no downforce, and here you are, race 3. You've got a chance to pick up a win.
Oh, exactly, you do. And Nick is a very, very talented driver, and him and his boys at Concept Motorsport put a lot of effort and work into that car, and this is just awesome to see. But it also highlights the ups and downs of motorsport and what can happen. The weekend started out not so great, and exactly like you've just said, look at what's happening now. He's leading with a very, very substantial lead.
And we talked a bit about this before. Look at that car. That's on rails, isn't it? Look how smooth it is.
Oh, definitely. At the moment, it doesn't seem like he's doing anything that he shouldn't be doing, and the car's handling. So he's definitely props to the boys. They've done a great job on that car.
So could we be on target for our third different winner in the BNT V8's this weekend? Heimgartner taking race 1, Barks taking race 2. So now Ross out in front in race 3. Meanwhile, in Class 2, it's the family affair, the McDonalds and the Herberts.
Yeah, it looks like Brock, I think, just shot past camera, maybe a few car lengths in front there, so he's back in the front, which is really awesome to see. But yeah, this battle between Chelsea and Liam, this should be quite a good race-long battle.
This is looking back from the Speedy Signs Ford Falcon of Liam McDonald. Herbert will close up in the MTF Ford Falcon.
Yeah, she made a slight little advantage under brakes there, so obviously her car may be slightly better set up or maybe just have some better brakes, but she's definitely got a good run down the straight there. Look at that, she's closed that gap right up.
380 horsepower down the big long straight at Teretonga into the loop.
Yeah, see, Liam did quite a defensive line there. She had a little bit more pace and was looking like she was maybe going to try and go wide, but Liam positioned his car just in the perfect position that she had to drop back in behind.
So these two have had a fantastic scrap right throughout the entire series, and here they are shadowing each other once again. All the fans around the track, you can see all the different varieties of spectator vehicles. Gee, they're fantastic. Look at that. What a great shot.
Oh, it's pretty epic. And if you ever get the opportunity down in Southland, especially at Teretonga, it's one of the best tracks to see all of the hardcore race fans come out. Like you said, they've got people, they literally park their boats up on the trailers for a weekend and sit in their boats as grandstands. Where else can you watch that?
Dead set sensational fans, I tell you that. They're great. Tell you what, this guy's having a great race. Nick Ross, the Class 1 leader, who's now going to take over the guys from Class 2 and show that, remember, this is 500 horsepower versus about 380. Flasher gearbox, bigger tyres, bigger brakes, bigger everything. That's the difference between Class 1 and Class 2, and there's the difference in speed.
That's a big difference, but Nick's really put the hammer down here, and he's to be able to catch the Class 2 guys from that 35-second deficit within a couple of laps. He's definitely got his eyes forward.
And a great onboard shot of that loop, one of the icon corners of New Zealand motorsport, how it just keeps on sweeping around that top end, the bottom end of the track here at Teretonga.
Oh, it goes forever. Even, you know, you go and watch it and it looks pretty exciting, but when you're actually behind the wheel driving it, it literally feels like you're turning that corner forever.
So Brock Tipperley's been in the class of his own so far in Class 2. He'll let Ross sweep past down the inside of the GWD elbow.
Yeah, nice work there by Brock to let him through without hindering his performance there. Just listen to that car down the front straight, pulling those high revs. That's awesome.
Can he hold on for the win? Heimgartner chasing him now in second spot, but he's got a bit of time to make up here.
He does. You can just see Nick starting to go around the loop there, so that's quite a big deficit to try and make up. But hey, this is motorsport, anything's possible, and Andre Heimgartner is very, very on form at the moment as well.
Of course, he's sitting in for Sam Barry, who'll be back next season, so he's grabbed his chance to use this as a real build-up for the V8 supercars with his Nissan team this year. But I love his attitude. It's all about, look, it's a car, it's got pedals, it's got steering wheel. My job is to sit on it and go fast. He's a finance asset broker back in Melbourne, so he can sell things while he's here at the track on his phone. So he's got something outside of motor racing. But right now he's showing he's a real motor racer. On board with Barks now. Matt Tubbs in front and the jump flex Holden Commodore.
Nice and close under brakes there, and yeah, Barks will definitely be trying to make quick work of Tubbs so that he can get as many points back as he can.
This is all recovery mode for Barks after the first quarter incident, or first lap incident, I should say, coming into that corner. So down the big long straight. Has anyone not hit Barks so far in the championship?
I'd like to say I haven't, but you never know. If there's a few cars out there. There's a pretty big Bargs out there. So yeah, I'd say everyone's
he was
probably
complaining
hit a touch.
after being tangled with his teammate in the last round, and then the other Aussie. So, he's had his moments this year. Almost like he's got a target on that car somewhere.
Nothing like a friendly little love tap between people. But, you know, that's the great thing about the class. Doesn't matter if there's any on-track antics or not. At the end of it, when we get it, the race is over, we get out of the cars. Everyone's nice, friendly, and we all, you know, usually have a little get-together Saturday night, have a barbecue and a couple of drinks and a bit of a yarn.
This is that family affair that's been going all weekend, the battle between the McDonalds and the Herberts.
Chelsea's definitely starting to catch up. Well, she hasn't been dropped off Liam, and he hasn't been able to pull away, so this is definitely turning into an interesting battle here. And you can see just there, just before she was able to put her nose down the inside, Liam was aware of where she was, and he's just positioned his car a little bit to the inside to try and hold the pole line to try and push her out, and she's had to do the same thing and drop behind him to get around the corner safely again. So that's good defensive driving by Liam there.
Smart racing.
Yep, smart racing. You have to be cautious with that, because as we saw in Ruapuna from the previous round with Bargs and Smith, it can get a little bit out of control, but that right there was great awareness from both drivers.
And of course, when you've got close racing like this, you still got to be able to give each other a bit of a racing room without taking each other out, because you know, you don't want to stuff up someone else's championship, because a DNF, when it's so tight, so close, can prove very, very costly, as Bargs found out at Ruapuna, because he's basically lost the lead in the championship. Herbert!
Oh, that's a decent break there. That was... Well, they both got around the corner safely there. That could have ended quite badly. That was quite great. She definitely had the rears locked up going into the corner, though, but great work by both drivers to get round there safely and not touch each other.
Bargs screaming down the straight. Of course, he wasn't so lucky after the contact with Hughes in that particular corner at the start of this race.
It was just a nice leisurely drive down the front straight there. You could see he only had one hand on the steering wheel, so he's trying to catch up to the front guys as best he can, but he may just settle into a bit of a rhythm here and just try and finish the race now.
And of course, that's given Liam McDonald a nice big cushion over Chelsea Herbert now in that Class 2 battle.
Yeah, that's probably just taken a little bit of pressure off Liam. He's got a pretty decent gap back to Chelsea now, so I'd say he doesn't need to be checking his mirrors anymore. He can just eyes forward and keep going.
And Liam letting Bargs go right round the outside to stay out of that trouble. So that's good skills and good driving as well.
Yeah, they both gave each other great room there, which was nice to see.
So it's just funny, we were talking about you can't afford to have too many accidents, and straight away McDonald and Herbert avoided doing exactly that. So smart driving, last lap, Jason Bargwana chasing down this man, the 007 total Nissan Altima of Nick Ross on board the Cambridge Earth Mover. He moved a bit of earth down at the bottom of the straight at Teretonga, and now he's just staying on the tarmac.
Oh, it's well deserved, you know. He's been around, I think he's the longest serving competitor in the class at the moment of 15 or 16 seasons. But, mate, like, hats off to Nick and the boys. What a great way to finish the weekend.
Yes, a previous champion in the BNT V8's. So Heimgartner took out race 1. Bargs took out race 2. Nick Ross totally over the top. What a great win in race 3.
Well deserved, and that was some great pace. Great to see Andre coming home in second, but you could see that was still a very, very large gap, and, you know, that was testament to how Nick's been driving this weekend.
Bargs will wrap up the top 3, and Timperley, wow, another win in Class 2. Gee, he's been a turn-up for the books here at Teretonga. And it's the local boy, Liam McDonald, who'll take out second, followed by Herbert, and a fast-finishing Matt Tubbs from Class 1. So it's Ross, Heimgartner, Bargs in Class 1, Andre extending his lead in the championship, Timperley, McDonald and Herbert in Class 2.
Yeah, hey, I've got to put a big thanks out to the team putting the car back together after yesterday. It was a rough day yesterday, and no, it's nice to pull back one with a win. And boys were giving me grief that I can never get off the line, so I proved them wrong this time. Yeah, I think it shows that these cars are really evenly balanced. I mean, whoever gets the whole shot pretty much wins the race because they're so even, and hey, it makes for real good racing, and today we just made the most of our whole shot. It's good fun racing with these guys, and Matt's coming on quicker and quicker, and it's we're going to get a few more cars back in the North Island, and it's going to make for a real good last few rounds.
Stoked with how this round's gone, coming to a new track, being able to get these results was fantastic. You know, not going all out, not making mistakes, just keeping it in a smooth line, keeping it fast at the same time. Just teetering on the limit there. Heaps of mileage at Manfield, been around there in the V8 already, which is great, and also done a lot of racing there in the Pro 7. It's a track that I really enjoy, and I'm really looking forward to it.
On the points table now, Andre Heimgartner takes the round and extends his lead in Class 1 from Bargs and Ross, and in Class 2, only 1 point separating Chelsea Herbert and Liam McDonald, with Brock Tipperley winning the round and closing in on a place in the podium. So after a fantastic weekend at Teretonga, next up for the BNT V8's Round 5, the New Zealand Grand Prix meeting at Circuit Cusaimon in mighty Manfield, coming up in a couple of weeks' time. And the last word goes to the rookie racer, Matt Tubbs.
Hey, I'm Matt Tubbs, and I've got the last word for this weekend. This is our first time down in the South Island, racing Christchurch and Invercargill. What an amazing track Teretonga is. So quick, the locals are really friendly and welcoming. Really loving being part of the BNT V8s, and looking forward to the next round at Manfield. That's the last word. Woo!